very disturbing weekend in which we had multiple incidents in which resulted into multiple victims being injured as well as a death. Of course, this weekend we had 2 homicides and as many as 6 non-fatal shootings this weekend. Very disturbing, very alarming. But we are very committed also in ensuring the safety of our city. So with all of this occurring, I can say that the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department has remained committed to investigating each and every one of these incidents in its entirety. But I want you to also know the month of July was the second month in a row in which we had a reduction in homicides, 23 going against 25. Overall, crime was down last week compared to the previous week. This weekend just put a black eye and dampened the spirits of what we have actually been accomplishing over the last few weeks. I'm going to start with the Bourbon Street in Orleans shooting that occurred on August 1st, involving 5 victims, resulting in 5 victims being injured. Around 2:05, 2:04 a.m., our officers, 8 district officers, responded to a shooting at that intersection in which we located 5 victims who sustained 9 life-threatening injuries. One of the victims, we do believe, was a shooter in this incident. We do believe there's an exchange of gunfire between 2 individuals. One of the 5 victims sustained a gunshot wound, and we do believe that this one particular individual was a shooter. His involvement is still under investigation. That is why we have not made a formal arrest, but we have identified one of the shooters that are involved in this. We have a still print of a black male, heavyset black male, approximately in his 30s, 5'6" to 5'7", with short dreadlocks or curly long twists. We will be releasing that still print immediately following this stand-up. So we do not know the motive of that particular incident just yet, but again, 5 victims, all non-life-threatening injuries. A few hours later, 1st District responded to a shooting in the 1600 block of Iberville, in which 4 individuals were shot. We have a deceased 15-year-old, 2 16-year-olds who were shot, as well as an adult male who was shot in this one incident. We have since made an arrest of a 15-year-old for this particular incident. So again, our city have lost another one of our youth to senseless violence. But what has also happened in this tragic incident, it took the parents. We stand up here and I receive questions on a daily basis about parenting and what parents should or should not be doing. It was the parent of this 15-year-old suspect that turned him in to ensure that that family has closure. I have spoken to the mother of this 15-year-old suspect, and understandably so, she is very shaken up. She's upset. She was very emotional. She had to make a difficult but courageous and the right decision. We've asked our parents. We've asked our community. If you see something, say something. We've asked everyone to be more responsible, and this parent did just that. We remember a few months ago, we had another parent, a father, who did the same with his son. And I commend these parents for their actions, because it is a very difficult decision to make, a life-changing decision for their family as well as their loved ones. So with that being said, I'm asking if anyone has any information on the Bourbon Street in Orleans shooting, if anyone has any additional information on a homicide that occurred in the 1600 block of Iberville, or any other of our incidents that occurred throughout this weekend, to contact our district investigative units, contact homicide, or you can contact us anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Just know that the New Orleans Police Department remain dedicated and committed to ensuring the safety of our city. Things are going to occur, things have occurred, and we continue to address them as they occur while also trying to prevent them from occurring. And as I say every week, it's going to take each and every one of us. It takes a village, from that faith-based community to the business leaders, law enforcement, parenting, criminal justice system in its entirety. We all have a role to play. So yes, we had a bad weekend, but we also have made several arrests over the last week for gun violence, for illegal carrying of firearms. So we continue to be committed, and we will be committed to the safety of the city of New Orleans. With that being said, Aaron, I'll answer any questions that anyone may have. Yes, there's an exchange of gunfire between two individuals. What I will say is, and we talk about technology and advancing and improving our technology, right there at that intersection, we had a camera for the real-time crime center that captured the entire event. So yes, we had two shooters, and we have one identified, and we're currently trying to identify that second shooting, which you will receive that still print, still shot photo after this presser. Next. So when we talk about Louisiana State Police is working with us with Operation Golden Eagle. The business leaders, just as well as you know, that the agreement between the city of New Orleans and the Louisiana State Police expired last year. So we're now having to work in a different capacity. We have to be creative. We have to be innovative in our deployment, and we're doing just that. With regards to curfew, absolutely we are addressing curfew. Unfortunately, the business leaders, some, I'm not going to say all, have this perception that we are just allowing juveniles to walk up and down Bourbon. That is not the case. In many cases, we have Captain Walls with me, and I commend he and his team. They have addressed many of our kids that are out there. When they engage these kids, you know what they learn? Their parent is standing right there with them. So we're not allowing curfew violators to walk around the streets of Bourbon Street. But again, our state police partners work with us on a daily basis, and you'll hear at the closure of Operation Golden Eagle how well that partnership has been. No motive just yet. What I will say is that we do know, in speaking to the mother, there was a friendship between, or a relationship between the shooter as well as the victim. There was some sort of relationship, and unfortunately, this is a result of some sort of disagreement. The true motive, we do not know at this time. Mm-hmm.
Bourbon Street. Can you speak to the bigger picture? It just seems that we were talking earlier. Go back to 2014 with Charlie Lee. That was a major story when it happened. But now, unfortunately, we've had so many shootings on Bourbon Street. It seems that people have become, unfortunately, desensitized to it. Do you get that feel that people almost expect something like this? And could you speak to just the fact that they've had a rash of them in the last couple of years of people bringing guns to Bourbon Street?
I can't say that people are desensitized to this or necessarily expect there to be a shooting. No one ever expects to go anywhere and to be involved or be around a shooting. But I will say is that we are seeing more and more people carry weapons and use them irresponsibly. What we are seeing is that people are allowing arguments or disagreement to end with a violent ending. And we've seen that over the last year with regards to, again, you've seen me stand at this podium. I'm not a medical expert, but the stress is real. And you can see that people are not using any type of conflict resolution skills or de-escalation skills. These arguments, these disagreements are rapidly evolving and erupting into a violent ending.
And then about Iberville, I know I've asked you this before. Should the 15-year-old, given the fact that he is accused of killing somebody and injuring two, should he be charged as an adult, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I allow the criminal justice system to do its due diligence in that. The taking of anyone's life is very serious, and I think we have to take into consideration the impact that the loss of this life will have on that victim's family.
Is there, just two questions. First one, any indication that Iberville
Now, we have no reason to believe that these two cases or these two incidents are related at all.
And is the 15-year-old boy, I guess if he said this, I apologize, but is a 15-year-old boy believed to be the only shooter on that scene on that day?
That is still under investigation as well. I have not mentioned that yet because that is still under investigation, but we do know that his involvement in this for sure.
We're seeing so many people on Bourbon Street, inside the corner, are armed, and it's police not finding weapons due to those drug stops. How do officers control or find those weapons?
What do you mean not finding weapons due to drug stops?
Weapons for simple drug stops.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really happening so much anymore. How do you think?
I mean, our policing has, somewhat changed, but we still continue to be engaged. I think, just last week, actually, minutes prior to the Bourbon and Iberville, and Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but just minutes prior to that, the officers are actually on the gun arrest around the corner for aggravated assault. So it has not changed our engagement. It's just that we have to be creative and innovative in how we engage. But it's not just, and what we have to do as a society is stop putting this on police. There's some self-responsibility that must be done in this. Why are we carrying weapons to walk on Bourbon Street and digest alcohol? That is a deadly combination. It's a conversation we have every week. It is no secret. We are understaffed. But let me say this as well. We can have 2,000, we can have 3,000 officers. The arrest is still being made. If we still have to deal with these individuals with no accountability, what good is the arrest?
What, if you could speak to the bigger picture of juvenile crime in the city of New Orleans? I know it was car break-ins, then it was car thefts, then it's armed robberies. Now, it has been shootings with 15-year-olds possibly engaging in gunfire here. It's something you didn't see 20 years ago. Does more need to be done? And I know that there's an effort, at least an effort, to get programs in place for these teen offenders, but does it seem like it's working? Because it just seems like you're up here a lot more saying it's a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old, which I think used to shock people, but now it almost becomes commonplace that you have young teens committing violent crimes.
We definitely have to do more for our youth, get them to be more engaged into life, productive things in life. But I think we also need to take a look at some of our gun policies, and how, look at how are these kids able to have access the way that they do. So policing has changed. We have to adapt to what we're doing to address these juveniles.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.